So now we have the first few dimensions. Where do I go next?
Yeah, so the next dimension we need is time dimension, so period information. And to create this, sure, you can go the same steps. You can type in everything manually, or let's call this dimension month. We are using a so-called template month.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are some predefined content inside, and the month dimension creates already a structure we need. So when I go there, I have all months already for 2016, and I have 12 month elements here presented in a way with the name 2016 dash and then the month.
Okay. What's the tilde down there about?
The tilde is a so-called unassigned element. So if you have to store data in your cube later, and you have data that is not related to any time or anything else, we need at least a technical coordinate. So we need something to store data on it. But if this data has no customer, for example, or has no time or has no product, we use this unassigned or unassigned tilde element as a dummy. You can call it whatever you want, but it will be created automatically in each dimension if you use templates, for example.
Okay. But obviously I need more than 2016, and I need quarters, not just months.
Right. So the template just creates a foundation of this of the time structure here, and to increase this now, you don't have to type it manually. So this is the nice piece, because with the month template, you can see there is a tab called Time Editor here. This is not available in the other dimensions we have created. This is now available because even the dimension month has a type time or month, and you can define now the content with this property dialog. So let's say we need 2016 to 2018.
I could use 2019 though.
Okay, so let's take 2019. So you can increase the values here, and if you're fine with this, we can say update dimension. But let's take another look before I update the dimension, because currently the levels are designed or defined as year month. So you saw it, this is the year dash the month. Actually, I would like to have the year and a quarter. So year, quarter, month. So I want to have a quarter in between. You remember we spoke about the consolidation?
Yeah.
So I want to have the quarter inside. And I run now the update of the dimension. In the background, the system updates. We see a log information. Everything has been updated successfully. We click OK. We take a look to the elements. And there it is. So we have 2016, quarter one, and we can drill down now to the month. So we have a level in between. Nice. And we have your 2019 year also included. And if you go and take a look to the right side, attributes are also created automatically.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So I see how there's name. Is that also where I would find the translations and things like that, where we saw before, where you had to hover the mouse over the header before that arrow came down?
Correct. So let's take a look. If we have here, we go.
Oh my, that's more than I expected.
More languages than before. With the template we have used, additional languages have been added, and also let's take a French, for example. Now the name, we want to see the French name. So we see here immediately it's already translated into French, and so on. So the system is smart at this point, and it's immediately feeds all your attributes with the appropriate translation.
Okay, and let's see what else there is. Next year, previous year, next month, previous month. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I see that it's, it looks like it's only on the month level. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Are there any sort of limitations with this, or?
Yeah, so first, this is a kind of best practices modeling. So each month element carries his previous month's information or year information in an attribute. So it's easy to use this on a report. So you can ask, this is the current year, what is its previous year? And with this, you can build more dynamic reports. And you can imagine when we go to quarter or to 2016 or 1, currently we have a little issue because there is no information inside. So we actually, the limitation here, or something you have to care about, is when you start with a specific year, 2016 for example, and you want to use this functionality, you need more or less kind of dummy year before. So 2015 would be helpful now to feed also this information, even if you don't use it at all, even if it's empty, but then you don't run into issues later on your report side. So we have to update, and this is quick and easy. You go to Time Editor and you say, I need another year.
One thing about that, though, before you update it, would it delete my data if I'm changing this as I go on a running system, or?
Good question. No, except you select Rebuild Dimension. Yeah, so for security reason, it's by default, it's Extend Dimension. So you update. So update means everything will be added, nothing will be deleted, so your data is secure. Okay. But in this moment when you go for rebuild, you have to carefully use this with your data. So here we can use update. And
what about all these other things, though? There's also a lot going on this screen with additional elements and things like that. What is some of this stuff?
So there are a lot of possibilities here to extend your structure. So we have the month, quarter, the year, month, quarter elements by default. Additional elements could be a dummy element. So data that is only carried on an annual level, but there's no, you don't want to spread it across multiple months, or you have an annual data entry point where you store annual values later for budgeting planning, for example, or you create, we can use this here, opening special periods. So some ERP systems, they have the month 13 on 14 for adjustments, so we can select the 14, for example, and we can also create multiple hierarchies in the same dimension. So let's say we want a year to date, so this is used for balance sheet, for cumulative data calculation, and we can even create rolling months. So let's keep it simple for the moment. Here we make little adjustments here. We update the dimension, and let's take a look. It's ready, successful, and there we go. We got a new version now, so it's not destroyed. So we have first, we have the new year, the additional year has been added here. So even if we don't use this year for our data, the previous year, next month, previous month information for 2016 are now correct. And we have year-to-date cumulation here. So when I drill down here, I can see that the 2016 February year-to-date is a consolidated element, and it's aggregated, consolidated by two base elements. The 2016 01 is exactly the same like this one here. It's really, but it's parallel. It has multiple parents. So I can also ask the system, show me all parents of this particular element, and you see it has been used many times. Because the value is stored only once, and it's consolidated into multiple hierarchies. So think about a sum formula. So you asked me in the previous session, is it like a sum formula? Yes. You have one value that can be processed by multiple calculations. So this is the same procedure here. And you have a nice hierarchy at the same time.
Okay, now I think I really understand what you said when you said that the elements, really, the base elements exist one time and that they're used in different ways. That really showed that well with this whole OLAP system. Is there anything else I should know about with the time editor? Actually, could you go back to it? I thought I saw something that looked interesting. So I'm not interested in using weeks, but I see that if there were something with weeks, there's that gray spot, and it says first day of the week. and that could be useful depending on where you are. In the
Right.
U.S., the first day of the week is Sunday. You Germans are weird, and you think it's Monday, and so
Or vice versa.
and so it looks like that's where I could set that up.
Correct. So in this moment, when you have something with weeks inside, we could activate this, and then you have to define exactly what you said. So for United States, for example, you say the first day is Sunday, and the minimum days of the week is 1. And then you get this combination where the calendar week is calculated by the definition the 1st January, the first day in the month. And for countries working by ISO 8601, they need the Monday as the starting point, and the minimum days of a week is 4. So the first 4 days in a week, is the definition for the first calendar week.
Okay, well, that's why
Yeah.
I don't use calendar weeks, but it is
Right.
something you encounter here.
And you can set this up.
Okay, was that it, or?
This is okay for the moment.
Okay,